This week, I'm being really cheap because I got more expensive things coming later. Welcome back to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. It's episode 3 of the Axial SCX24 Budget Build Off. I'm doing this with Harley Designs. I will link to his channel down below. If you're not familiar with this series, it's where Josh and I take $50 each week as part of our budget to modify an existing Axial SCX24. I started with the Deadbolt. He started with a different one. He started with the Betty. I would not be messing with the Betty. This is where I'm at right now. Doesn't look like a Deadbolt much anymore, does it? If you were watching last night on the live stream, I did a bunch of styrene work, and it's actually a really excellent primer on getting into modifying using styrene. I will put a link right up there so you can check that video out. There are a lot of handy tips and tricks, all of which were free because I had all of that stuff in my collection of junk. So we're not counting any of that towards the budget. It was more of just sort of like a demo on how to do some of these things. Definitely, I think people got a lot out of it. And I'm pretty impressed with what's happened so far to this build. We did a lot of filling of gaps where I did a lot of the modifying of this body. We added a hood, so there's now an actual working hood. Doesn't show anything, there's nothing under there. But it was a great place to start, and there's going to be a lot more modifying to this body to be done. We still have to figure out how to mount it. Still need to see if there's going to be room for some sort of interior, but I kind of wanted to get a little bit of that out of the way, and so we could focus on some more mechanical, performance-oriented upgrades for week 3. In this week, I decided to add 2 things. And I was trying to be value conscious, and these maybe aren't necessarily massive or super important upgrades to make, but they're upgrades nonetheless. The first thing I did was replace the plastic steering links. Those links are so bendy and don't really do much to give much actual steering to the SCX24, so I've replaced them with parts from Hot Racing. These are all aluminum. They mounted up perfectly. They basically are exactly the same thing that is stock, just metal now. And, offer a lot more rigidity in the steering department. Super easy to install. I just removed the servo horn so I could get access to the bolt behind the servo horn. Undid all the bolts and basically reassembled it as you see here. Not a super difficult one to do, but certainly a good one, in my opinion. The other thing I wanted to address was weight, and I've added a lot of brass weight up to the front of the truck. We might as well add some brass to the rear of the truck. So I've replaced the rear hex hubs with parts from Yeah Racing. These are the brass wheel hubs. They fit perfectly, super easy to install. It basically replaces the hub, goes right over the pin, and becomes the hex hub for the wheels, so everything just goes right back into place. Now we've got some nice weight up front and some nice weight in the rear, and it's all down low, which is exactly where we want it, especially with me adding this big plastic hard body and plastic cage onto this truck. I am ruining performance, and I don't really care, because that's not my thing. My thing is to make things look cool, and I think we're getting there. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Let's be honest. I would also like to thank everybody who made a comment about cab overs from Land Rover. Yes, they do exist. I've just never seen a Series 3 that's been made into a cab over. So by all means, thank you for your comments. They definitely helped. And, Wikipedia is your friend. I'm sure Josh is doing something extremely amazing this week. He usually does. His build is coming along very, very well. I haven't been auditioning as many parts as he has. I'm going to have to try that out. If money was no object and you were doing a build sort of like this, for example, How would you spend your money on the SCX24? What is the must-have upgrade? And I'm not saying that I'm done by any means. There's a lot to come. But I'm curious to know what you would spend your money on. Put a comment down below. You know I love reading through your feedback, and I try to answer as many of those comments as I can. And if you're enjoying this video and you love this series, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you get updates anytime there's a new video from the Scale Builders Guild. I think now is probably as good a time as any to do a tally, so let's break out the notepad and the calculator. For week 3, I installed the Yeah Racing brass wheel hubs. Those were $16.99. I also installed the Hot Racing aluminum steering link, and that was $9.89. For a total in week 3 of $26.88, leaving me a very healthy remainder, where I didn't do that calculation. Wow, leaving me a very healthy remainder of $23.12. And if we tack on the $8.58 from the 2 previous weeks, we've got $31.07 going into week 4, plus that $50. Unless it's a free week. Then we're not spending any money. So this is looking pretty good. Any ideas on what I'm trying to save up for? Put a comment down below. It can only be a few things. Gosh, I wonder what I'm going to be auditioning. So there you go, a few performance upgrades for week 3. I think this build is going very well, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't think it's really about winning or losing. It's just about winning for yourself. And isn't that what this hobby is all about? Setting your own goals and reaching your own limits. And I'm setting myself up in case Josh does something super amazing. That way I can still feel good about myself. I think that's going to do it for week 3. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. That is looking pretty cool though, isn't it?